It is with profound sadness that the Alexander and Albert families announce the death of our beloved son, grandson, brother, uncle, nephew, fiance, cousin, and friend, Edric Sharman Alexander, affectionately known as Edo, originally from Wingsville, Suffolk. He resided at Cap Estate, Grocery. He passed away at the OKEU Hospital on Tuesday, 31st January 2023, at the age of 41. He was a taxi driver. Left to mourn his loving, caring, and devoted mother, Gregoriana Alexander, also known as Gregor, or Miss Greg's caregiver of Wingsville, Suffolk. His father, who was also his best friend, Theodore Eric Albert, also known as Rico, of New Development, Suffolk, a building contractor. Fiancée Wendy and his loving stepdaughter Lana and family of the US, Trinidad, and the UK. 9 brothers. Hartman Alexander, also known as Slabber of Suffolk. Eric Alexander, also known as Trax of Suffolk, registered nurse, attached to the Suffolk Hospital. Aaron Alexander, also known as Maddie of Suffolk. Gregory Alexander, also known as Floril of Suffolk. Tarek Albert of Foncio Choiseul, former student of the Choiseul Secondary School. Errol Albert of New Development, Suffolk. Owen and Osmond Leon, both residing in the USVI. Tyson Alexander of Castries, employed with Reno Cement Plant. 10 sisters. Ellery Gaston of Suffolk, community health nurse, attached to Forces Jacques Wellness Center. Eric Alexander, also known as Rika, educator residing in the UK. Rochelle Alcindor Charles, also known as Nadej, nurse residing in the US. Savannah Gustav, also known as Sabi of Suffolk. Arifa Albert of Frontier Choiseul, student nurse at the South Louis Community College, Montfortune, Castries. Horatia and Orlando Leon in the US. Ella and Luana Albert of Frontier Choiseul, both students of the Choiseul Secondary School. Jenna Harrell of Suffolk. Grandparents. Mary Albert, also known as Ma Lennox, and Michelle Albert, also known as Lennox, both of Church Street, Suffolk, formerly of Belfort, Suffolk. Uncles. Dr. Thomas Gaston, who's also his godfather in the U.S. Constance Alexander, also his best friend in the USVI. David Albert, retired building contractor in Brooklyn, New York, and family. Michael K. Albert, also known as Mikey, retired corporal of police of Fort Benning, Suffolk, and family. Gilles Alexander, also known as Abbas, electrician of Suffolk. Emmanuel Alexander, also known as Phi of Labrie. John Albert, a mason of Industry Choiseul, and family. Luciana's Best and family resided in Canada. James Isidore in the U.S. Albert Alexander, also known as Bobot, and his partner Marilyn in the U.S. Anselm Alexander, also known as Radio, and family in Suffolk and the USVI. Aunts. Dr. Kim Gaston in the U.S. Lucy Isidore in the U.S. Sylvia Samuel, also known as Ma Owen, and family of Margaret Suffolk. Clara Marcion, retired hotel worker of Bacatel Castries and family. Mary Fidelis Edwards and family of Brooklyn, New York. Antonia Ernest, retired library assistant of Granivier Grocery, originally of New Development, Suffolk, and family. Christiana Meisel and family of Brooklyn. Petula Alexander in the USVI. Benedict Charles and family in the USVI and the US. Diane Hazel Prescott and family of Barbados and St. Vincent. Nephews. Karen Alexander, who is also his godson of Cemetery Road, Soufrière. J.N. Alexander of Soufrière. Reese and Dylan Charles in the U.S. Giovanni Alexander Masco in the UK. Amani Alexander of Soufrière. Avani Joseph of Soufrière, student of Etangs Combined School. Nieces: Tyra Alexander Kebby in the UK. Aliyah Lily Charles of the U.S. Hazel Alexander of Soufrière, student of the Soufrière Infant School. Ariel Nelson of Soufrière, student of the Soufrière Infant School. Janaya Paul of Soufrière, student of the Choiseul Secondary School. Godmother: Anne-Marie Alexander and family of Forbenier. Granduncles: Leon Albert, also known as Albert of Toral Soufrière and family. Peter Charles, also known as Credo of Bouton Soufrière and family. Thomas Alexander and family of Soufrière. Anthony Greg Alexander and family of Castries and the UK. Grandaunts: Marie Charles, also known as Rosalia of Crescent and Soufrière and family. Maria Medleys, also known as Carmen of Martinique and family. Ramona Lancico and family. Benedict Alcindor, also known as Lyra and family. Mary Martha, also known as Eugracia and family, all of London, England. Many cousins, including Kimberly and Kelly Gaston in the U.S., Lisa Leon, Hermione Encarnacion, and Lydia Marton, all in the U.S., Loki Albert and family of Soufrière, Lucianic and Lamar Alexander in the USVI, Alex Isidore in the U.S., Manny Alexander and his daughters of Soufrière, Bertram, also known as Richie, Gillian, Gilbert, Amaron, and Marciana Henry and families, all Soufrière. Isadora Isidore and family of the U.S., Emanuela, Emanisha, Emanasa, and Carlton Ferdinand of Castries, Jeanne and Greg Best of Soufrière, Dwayne Gustave of Fossé Jacques, the Jean-Baptiste family of New Development Soufrière, Nyasha Marshallek and Valerie Anson Saldibus and family of the UK and Soufrière, Keon Augustine and the Augustine family of Guadeloupe, New Development and the UK. In-laws: Della Stephen of Soufrière, Michelle Francis and family of Wavincler Soufrière, Tichelle Etta Daisy of Soufrière, Lily George and family of Martinique, Jacqueline Mesmain of Soufrière. Close friends: Brother Jean-Paul, employed at Anchasney Hotel, Ian and Junior of Castries, Dr. Gina Sam of Brooklyn, Mr. Norby and family, manager of New High Taxi, Terry Dorville of Miko, Spencer Hippolyte, also known as Botto, and family of Zeno, Nick Cyprian and family of Soufrière, Kenyon Paul of Palmis, Danny Lee Esnod of New Development, Nigel and Demetrius Simon of Soufrière, Johnson Simon and family of the U.S., Franklin Solomon and family of Soufrière, Joel Nelson and family of Castries and Soufrière, Almond Jean-Baptiste of Soufrière, John Lancico, also known as Nebo, bus driver of Soufrière, all his taxi driver friends in Rodney Bay and south of St. Lucia. Close friends of the family: Desmond Frederick, residing in Canada, the Doloff family of Soufrière and the U.S., Laurentia Joseph and family of the U.S., Celine Francis and the Francis family of Soufrière, Augustine Chaba Jacques of Soufrière, Sarah James and family of Fossé Jacques, Andy Isaac and partner of New Development Soufrière, Camilla Darius and family of Grosley, Simon family of New Development and Diamond, Jocelyn Fannis of Castries, Elizabeth Isaac and family of New Development, Romael Edward and the Edward family of Soufrière. Cherished family friends: Rima Fontenelle, registered nurse at Victoria Hospital, Christiana Estevelle, a community health nurse attached to Lacroix Wellness Center. Flora and Raim D'Souza and family of Soufrière. Nia Andrew and family in the UK. Mary Liz Campbell of Soufrière. Sandra Ferdinand, also known as Miss Celine, and family of Sulphur Springs. Lydia George Rennie and family of New Development. Thomasine Joseph and family of Sulphur Springs. Arlette Victor and family of Soufrière. Leonie Samuel and family of New Development. Lydia Ellis and family in the UK. Arnett Pierce and family in the UK. Bede and Daniela Isaac and family in the UK. Milton and Margaret Daisy of Cap Estate. Frances O'Geese of Grosselet. Joyce Podius and family of Labrie. Charmaine Blass and family of New Development. Francisca Casabon, Jessica Joseph, Jacinta St. Prix, Caroline St. Hill and their families, all of New Development, Soufrière. Left to mourn many other relatives and friends, including the Alexander families of Fort Bernier, Sulphur Springs, Castries, Canada, Trinidad, French Guiana, and the UK. The Albert families of Soufrière, Castries, Choiseul, the US and Canada. The Nicholas families of Dennery, Sulphur Springs, Barons Drive, Soufrière, Castries, Martinique, the US and the USVI. Leticia Gaston and family of the US. The Joseph and Henry families of Sulphur Spring, Soufrière and Choiseul and abroad. The Daisy families of Industry, Lampointe, Choiseul and Castries. The St. Rose, Charlemagne, Cauldron and St. Prix families of Lampointe, Choiseul and Castries. The Mondaisy families of Lampointe, Choiseul and Soufrière. French Guiana, Trinidad, the US and the USVI. The Calix and Pascal families of Soufrière and the US. The Prentice families of Soufrière. The Octave family of Soufrière Villefort and the US. The Martial family of Soufrière, children of the deceased grand aunt, Martina Mangru of Castries Villefort, Soufrière, Canada and the US. Children of his deceased grand aunt, Clara Alexander, also known as Ma Pirate of Fort Bernier. Callista Nelson Flavius and family of Soufrière and the US. Royce Lynn Symphorian and family of Smith Street, Soufrière. Hargy and Cindy of the Container Bar. Catalina Alphonse and family of Soufrière. Sophia Charles of the US. Gabriel Jean, the St. Prix family of the US. The Lescaris family of Soufrière. The Reynolds family of Soufrière and Castries. The Lancico family of Soufrière, Canaries and the US. The Bernard and Frederick families of Canaries. Barbara Alcindor and the Alcindor family of Soufrière and the US. The Jean family of Soufrière. The Lucien family of Palmis and Bouton. The Snack, Mercier, Cadet, Lendor, and Auguste families of Soufrière, Bouton, and the U.S. Chanel and Greg Willis of Soufrière. Also left to mourn many other relatives and friends, here and abroad, too numerous to mention. The funeral arrangements for the late Edric Sharman Alexander, affectionately known as Edo, will be held on Friday, 17 March 2023, at Our Lady of the Assumption Roman Catholic Church in Soufrière at 2 p.m., and then the body will be laid to rest at the Margaret O'Brien Private Cemetery in Latuni. The body now lies at Lazarus Funeral Home, New Dock Road, V4. May his soul rest in peace. Please note that the family would like persons attending the funeral service to wear a touch of blue.